All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about what is, without a doubt, the defining force of our time: artificial intelligence. We're going to look at everything, how it's changing our jobs, but also some of the really big risks we need to grapple with as a society. And to really get a sense of just how massive this moment is, it helps us start by, well, following the money.
So, to get a handle on the sheer scale of what's happening, just look at the investment. According to the Stanford AI Index, since just late 2022, private investment in AI has shot up by nearly 8 times. That's not just growth, That's an explosion. And all that capital is fundamentally reshaping our world, starting with something very personal to all of us: our careers.
So, how is this whole revolution actually playing out in the real world? When we dig into the future of work, the data tells a story that's, let's just say, a lot more complicated than the simple headline, "Robots are taking our jobs."
The scale of this change is just staggering. I mean, look at these numbers. The World Economic Forum projects this massive churn in the global job market by 2030. On one hand, yeah, around 92 million jobs are expected to be displaced. But on the other, an even bigger number, a whopping 170 million new jobs are projected to be created. So when you do the math, the net effect is a projected growth of 78 million jobs worldwide. So for all the fear about mass unemployment, the data really points to a future of transformation, not total elimination. But, and this is a big but, this new world of work is going to demand a completely different set of skills. To really thrive in this new era, you're going to need a new toolkit. The jobs of the future will demand this blend of technical know-how and some deeply human skills. Of course, AI and big data literacy are going to be table stakes, but just as crucial are things like resilience, curiosity, lifelong learning, and social influence. I mean, these are the skills that machines can help us with for sure, but they can never, ever truly replace. Okay, but as AI gets woven deeper and deeper into our lives, we have to look past the job market. We need to actually peek inside the technology itself, at the really complex and, let's be honest, often murky challenges hiding inside the algorithm's black box. Have you ever done this? You're driving, your phone's navigation tells you to turn, but you just feel like you know a better way? Well, there's actually a name for that. It's called algorithm aversion. It's our completely natural skepticism towards machine judgment. We're just wired to trust other humans more, even when an algorithm is statistically more accurate. And that trust is so fragile. One mistake, and we're ready to just give up on the tech completely. Right, the GPS example is just perfect. It tells you to go right, but your gut, your own experience, tells you to go straight. Even if that GPS has real-time traffic data we don't, we so often trust our own intuition. It really speaks to this deep-seated need we have to understand the why behind a decision, not just the decision itself. Critics always point to AI's black box problem, this idea that we can't always see its reasoning. But honestly, the human brain is a black box too. The real difference, the key difference, is accountability. We've built entire legal and social systems to hold people responsible. But when an AI gets something wrong, who do you blame? This creates this huge, unsettling gap in responsibility. And that accountability gap, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. Data bias is another massive danger. For instance, some pretty shocking studies show that if you remove a sensitive attribute, like race, from a dataset, it doesn't solve bias. The algorithm just gets clever and learns to use proxies, like zip codes or even names, to make the same biased decisions. You throw in massive privacy risks, and it all comes back to that one central question. When an AI fails, who pays the price? This question of accountability isn't just about a single algorithm either. It scales up to become this enormous global challenge. I mean, how on earth do we govern a technology that moves at lightning speed and doesn't care about borders? The problem, as a recent UN report lays it out, is that right now we just have this patchwork of different rules and standards all over the world. This kind of fragmentation doesn't just create confusion and higher costs. It creates serious, serious risks for all of us when these powerful AI systems are operating without any clear, consistent oversight. So how do we even begin to solve this? Well, that UN report suggests we could look to history for a model. Think about nuclear energy. The world actually came together to create the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, and it had a core bargain. We'll share the incredible benefits, but only in exchange for guarantees that it won't lead to a global catastrophe. And the parallel here is pretty striking, isn't it? Just like nuclear energy, AI is a dual-use technology.
It has this immense potential for both incredible good and unimaginable harm. The IAEA proves that global cooperation on this scale is actually possible. So the big question now is, can we pull it off again for AI? Because if we don't cooperate, we could be facing some truly terrifying possibilities. And there is one area where pretty much all experts agree we have to draw an absolute uncrossable red line. We're talking about fully autonomous weapon systems. You might have heard them called killer robots. And let's be crystal clear. These are not drones with a human pilot somewhere. No, these are machines designed to make the final decision to kill, all on their own. As Human Rights Watch puts it, this is a world where a machine rather than a human determines where, when, and against what force is applied. It's handing over the life or death decision from a person to a piece of code. Just think about that for a second. And taking this path, it just violates our most fundamental principles. First, the right to life. I mean, delegating the decision to kill to a machine is just a fundamental violation. Second, human dignity. This kind of tech reduces a person to just an object, a data point to be processed and eliminated. And finally, the right to a remedy. You can't put a machine on trial. It can't be held accountable. For the victims and their families, there's just no path to justice. So, we've seen the incredible opportunities and the really scary risks. But here's the most important thing to remember. None of this is set in stone. The future of AI isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we are actively choosing right now. The power is still in our hands. And we can already see those choices being made. When you look at how companies are planning for AI, the overwhelming focus is on people. Sure, 41% of employers think they might downsize some roles, but a much, much larger number, a full 77%, are prioritizing reskilling and upskilling their current workers. The focus is on adaptation, not just replacement. So the path forward really comes down to 3 critical choices we have to make. A choice for education, committing to lifelong learning for everyone. A choice for regulation, building systems that demand human accountability. And a choice for cooperation, working together as a global community to manage these huge risks. At the end of the day, AI is a tool, and like any powerful tool, it's basically a mirror. It's going to amplify and reflect the values we decide to build into it. So the final question really isn't about what the machines will do, it's about us. What values are we going to choose to show it?